Okay. How do we get our Bitmoji into Google? Well, we're going to go to the App Store. So you can just type in the Chrome Store in your web browser, or go over here if you have it on the left-hand side, left top corner where it says Apps. I'm going to go to the web store. And all I'm going to type in is Bitmoji, and you'll see it shows up right here. Click on it. You're going to install it just like anything else. Add to Chrome instead of remove from Chrome. And then when you click on it, you're going to sign in with the email address that you used to sign up. Again, I had my original Bitmoji was my old email address when I worked in Fulton, and it still worked. So you can sign up with a personal email address and it won't change anything. Okay. Next thing that I want to do is I'm going to put a link into, we have a shared drive, but it's not as easy to share the entire drive with everybody as it is just sharing the link to our virtual classroom templates. And so you'll see I have one listed, or we have one listed, that is Bitmoji scenes and characters. And so what I'm going to do, I don't know if I needed to open it up. Oops. Stop that. I'm going to grab this link. People keep coming in.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I'm a little concerned why my little statue's on the shelf in your virtual.
That's my Randy Downs action figure. We'll talk about that. So I'm just going to switch this to anyone with the link. And what you're going to, this is something that we've put together. I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to paste it into our chat here. Give me just a moment. Okay. Hopefully you guys will be able to click on that. You shouldn't have to ask for permission. That link will open up the file that it won't say Parks and Education, but it'll say Virtual Classroom, Scenes, Characters, and More. I just made a copy of it. What this is, I've been a part, and Randy's been a part of so many of these virtual background meetings and webinars that we've kind of compiled things that we found on the internet, things that people have shared with us, and so many different ideas that have come from other teachers and educators from everywhere. And so this is just a quick way to get you started. I'll show you step by step how to do it if you don't like what you've seen when you scroll through this, but this is a quick way to start, okay? At the very beginning, you'll see that there's floor and walls, many different options. As you continue to scroll down, you'll start to see there's some different classrooms with multiple teachers in there. And different ideas. And then we kind of get into Disney and Pixar. Somebody put together all of these different backgrounds from different animated movies. And then they went ahead and did the superhero characters and different characters from different movies as well. And the background has been taken away from all of these. We'll talk about how to take the background away as well. And then there's a section here, I kind of like this, around 137. You'll start to see a lot of different teachers, and these are people that have done videos on YouTube and things of that nature to explain this, but you get an idea of what it could look like. And I think what's really funny, I always point this out, is that, you know, you think of the window, but you can move the window around if you wanted to. You know, people didn't, I never thought of adding a window. I thought it was pretty hysterical when they did that. But you can layer this however you want. Somebody just did a cork board. And you really can, your ideas can go anywhere. Somebody's at the beach here, it looks like. Okay, and then at the very bottom, or toward the bottom, you'll see we get into furniture. We had somebody create a game room with all kinds of video games. And then I know that, I think, Randy, you found these, was the Harry Potter Bitmojis. There's Where Waldo edition, where there's a teacher that took a bunch of different ones and put all different teachers in there, and you have to find your teacher and move the circle over. So A
And you
lot
can,
of,
I also, Todd, I created for a 5th grade classroom an escape the room Bitmoji classroom with links to content questions, and they had to escape the room. It was really fun.
yeah, absolutely. That's it really, people's imaginations are really running with this and making it a lot more than just what it started off to be. It's really great to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if you haven't done this already, I'm going to open up a blank slideshow. And actually, I'm going to open up my slideshow and just put a blank slide on there so you can kind of see what I did. So I called mine morning meeting. I started off with a lot of trainings, and everyone seemed to have a morning meeting that was consistent. Every day they did a morning meeting with their kids. So I ended up naming mine that. So when I put it into Google Classroom, the kids know to go to their morning meeting. And how do we start if we're just blank? So I'm going to add in here. I'm going to insert a blank slide, but you can open yours up. And while I'm inserting the blank slide, go ahead and name yours virtual classroom or whatever you feel comfortable doing. Let's see.
And you know this, you also have the option to create a virtual slide for different parts of your day too. You could have like a reading time, morning meeting time, so it doesn't get too crowded.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to, you can pick a background from what we currently have in that folder. If anybody's having trouble getting into it for any reason, please let Randy know. But if I pick this first background with the bricks, that's fine. Actually, it's kind of cold. I'm going to pick this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to use my shortcuts, Control-C. And now I'm going to go over to my other presentation. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to use Control-V. And what it does, I'm going to get rid of that blank slide, is it just pastes that background into my morning meeting. And then from here, we can search using Google in another tab, or we can go ahead and start adding some furniture, some whiteboards, whatever you want to organize your classroom. And the way that we're going to do that, go up, we're going to go to Insert Image, and then we can go to Search the Web. And what's going to pop up is a little Google search on the right-hand side, which is great. We don't have to leave our presentation at all. So there's some keywords that you may want to write down, so grab a pen or pencil just so that you remember them. But what I've learned is if I'm looking for a whiteboard, and what I usually do is transparent, and you can see it comes up, background, and then you try to look for one that you like. So this one looks like it might work. And I'm going to click Insert, and we'll see if it does. And what you'll notice is any background that might have been there, we're able to get it, it's completely gone. So I can resize this. And one of the things that I've learned, you can see how big this blue line is going around it. And when you start to layer things, you want something to be in front of the other thing, you kind of want to trim that down as much as possible. So I use the crop image tool. And when I click on this, you can see these little black corners and lines come up. And so I'm just going to pull those corners and kind of snug it up as close to it as possible. I'm going to click on it again. And now I can resize it to however big I want. And I can move it to where I'd like. Maybe I'll move it over to the left side of the room. And now I have a whiteboard in there. And when I click on it, you can see it's just a whiteboard. It's not a lot of extra space that's being taken up. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my Bitmoji in here right now. And so I'm going to go up to where it says Bitmoji. I should already be signed in. And there's a ton of different Bitmojis that come up automatically. This one right here, it says air hugs. I'm just going to right click. I'm going to copy the image. And I'm going to show you this first. And then we can go back and I'll show you a nice little trick. So another one that you're going to want to write down is remove.bg. If you have another device, type in remove.bg. and then go to the star and save that as a bookmark. This place is awesome. You don't have to download anything. You can use your shortcut tools to cut and paste. And what it's going to do is it's going to remove the background. And it also, for this particular example, I will have to download it only because I'm going to erase some words that are above it. But right here, I'm just going to go ahead and use my Control V for paste. And that Bitmoji is going to come in here, and you'll see that it's taken away a lot of it. You can kind of see the air hug thing is still there. So what I want to do, because I just want this, this vector right here, I'm going to click on Edit. And I'm going to click on Erase Restore. And I'm going to make my brush size a little bit bigger, and you can see the circle that kind of comes up. And I'm just going to kind of get that away. I'm even going to get the motion away from it and just kind of be standing there like this. The problem with this is once you're done with it, I haven't found when I try to right click on it, it won't let me copy it. So in this particular case, I've got to click Download. And this is going to go directly to my computer or my Chromebook. And then I'm going to be able to insert it from my downloads. So let me go back to my morning meeting. I'm going to insert an image from my computer. I'm going to go to downloads, and it should be the first one that I just did. And there I am. And you can see there's a lot of space around me. I'm going to tuck this in right there. And now, when I'm done cropping, I can resize myself to any size that I want. Okay? So that's one way to get your Bitmoji in there if you like a certain pose. If you just want to do it quick, the trick is when you click on your Bitmoji icon that we've already put in, if you type in the word pose, this is the nice, quick, easy way to find something that you like. Here's me waving, copy the image, and now I'm going to paste it. And you can see that the background's already gone. I'm going to resize myself, kind of saying hello to everybody. We'll get rid of this guy. But those are two different ways that you can go ahead and put yourself as a Bitmoji into your virtual classroom. So at this point, there's a lot of different things, and I'm going to go back to this one for just a second, that I've talked about with administrators and different expectations that they've had for their teachers. And the one thing that really we've had a consensus on is having some sort of agenda. And that's why I like the whiteboard. Anytime you have a whiteboard, you're able to display the expectations for the day for your students. You can number them. You're able to give direction. And on top of that, you're able to hyperlink anything that you type out. So let's just say that I'm going to insert some text. I'm going to come here to the board that I already have. And I'm just going to name it number 1, or I could go like this. First complete. I was a math teacher, so IXL assignment, click here. We could go on, number 2. Read, whatever. Okay, if I wanted to connect this, I'm going to highlight my text, and then right here at the top of your toolbar is your insert link piece. And I'm just going to click it, and I don't have an actual particular website that I want them to go to, but I'm going to have them just to go to the general website of IXL, and I'm going to click apply, and you'll see that it now becomes a hyperlink. That's true for a lot of the different things that I have here. I've got my days of the week here, so I can quickly change out my calendar. My YouTube channel right here, if I click on it, you'll see that it's linked. My actual website is linked. so that kids have, if you have certain items in your room that you want kids to go to. I know star testing was big when I was teaching math. I would probably have some sort of icon there for star testing, so that if we were doing that on that day, the kids could click on the star test icon and quickly get to it. This takes us to a website, but really I want you to understand that you can link anything. And what I mean by that is any Google Doc, slideshow that you have, you can link videos, whether they're in your Google Drive and you're sharing them that way, or they're on YouTube. You can link websites. You can link Google Classroom assignments. So as we get into classroom piece of this talk, you'll start to see that we'll organize our classrooms kind of by week and then number the assignments as well. But this assignment right here, when we click on it, could go to an actual Google Classroom assignment that kids are going to interact with and then turn in. And then the reason that Randy was asking, why is she on my shelf? If teachers, they spoke about this many times, if they wanted to link to another teacher's virtual classroom, we could do that as well. So if I want kids to be able to go to her virtual classroom, and maybe it's like a yoga calm down room for kids, they would go ahead and click on Mrs. Downs, and then they would be able to interact with her room as well.
Hey, Todd, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, I think that's a good place.
I just need to know who iPhone is. I'm sorry.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a participant that says iPhone. Who is that?
That's Kim.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you. I want to apologize. I sent you a PBL link by accident.
Yeah.
So I resent everybody the correct link that Todd had shared earlier with the other link. Sorry about that. I had it on my clipboard. Sorry.
Thanks,
You should
Randy.
be all set now. You're welcome. Thank you. And
thank you for not Zoom bombing us. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, that was my fear.
So I really want people to kind of explore and play. So if we take a couple of minutes here, and I want to kind of sit back, I'd like to see people go and just try to put a background into your slideshow. If you don't like anything that you currently see, we can go to search the web as well and go back. Whoops, sorry. Insert image, search the web. And then if you just type floor and walls, you'll see a bunch of stuff come up. And so find something that you kind of like by scrolling through. And some of them are at different angles. You'll see, if you're a particular teacher, I've seen gymnasiums with floor and walls for phys ed classes. So you can get really specific. If you wanted to look for science room floors and walls, you could do something like that. So just kind of scroll through for a bit. This looks like a gymnasium right here to me.
And also, for those of you who do teach with another teacher, if they send you, you can also, if you're working closely together, I don't know if you said this, Todd, get their password and their log on for Bitmoji. That's what I did when I was doing this for another teacher. And then I was able to find whatever pose I wanted for the second teacher. That depends on if you're really close or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was my husband, so he shared.
There you go.
But that's an option for co-teachers.
If you wanted to put a chair in, I know we have different ones that you can just copy and paste. But again, the word vector is one that you're going to want to write down and remember. And if we can go clear background, you can use that as well. Let's see what comes up. You'll see a whole bunch of different choices come up. Let's see if this one will work.
And
you
can find a sitting character to Bitmoji too.
Yeah. Yep. This looks like a comfortable chair. I'd like it. Area rugs. I know people have put those into their room. Couches, plants, like I said, windows, picture frames of different items. And maybe you don't find something that you particularly like, or maybe you want something super specific. I know that in my classroom, I wanted to make sure I had a microphone. With all the videos that I try to create and do, I wanted something like that. So as you're working, you can listen. And if I type in microphone vector, you'll see a whole bunch of images come up. Now, these will have backgrounds to them, the majority of them. And I'm going to use my snipping tool. If you're using a Chromebook, you can use the Control Shift, and then it's the key. It looks like a box with 2 lines to the right of it, I believe. It's above the number 5 or 6 or right in between there. And that's your snipping tool shortcut. So that's a good one to use as well. So if I find something that I kind of like.
Hey, Todd, while you're searching, there's a question in chat.
Yeah.
And I know that things have changed because originally when we did this, we saved it as a PDF. But the question was, and you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
People want to have a few different slides. And so I said, if you could explain to everyone a way to save it. No, you don't have to save it as a PDF. There's a way to save it so that as you change things in your background, it's a living document. So Ashley, you're going to want to listen to how to save it that way. It's similar to the PDF, but allows more freedom. And along with that, Todd, if that's saved, are kids able, the question is, can you have more than one slide in the PDF, but we're gonna do once you convert it. For example, I have a slide that you click on to star my virtual classroom slide. Yes, and it can link to other slides. That is a true yes. You can link pictures to it, but Todd, will you explain that, please?
Yeah, let's start here. So this isn't Randy's, but I grabbed this just as an example because I was working with administration, and they wanted a calm down room at one point. I think it was Ryan wanted a calm down room. So this was the closest thing I could find, just grabbing it and pasting it in. So I'm going to move this up. I'm just going to move this up. So if I pretended that was Randy's room, I could go ahead and click on her. And then when I click link, you can see that I can paste any link if I wanted to, but underneath it, it says slides in this presentation. And so if I wanted to link to slide 2 and hit apply, if I clicked on her, it would go right to slide 2. Now, the one thing that I would do if I was building this is have myself as a little action figure or a way for kids to get back to my classroom, which I don't currently have in here, but that's how you get from slide to slide. So it's just that link button, and instead of making it a website, you can just link it to a slide that's in the presentation.
Thank you, Todd and Randy. So you can still use, so once you convert it to PDF, that'll still work?
That's what we got to talk about.
So there's, yeah, if you want me to go right into that, we can.
Yeah, it would still work, but we're trying to make it even better for you so that you can make changes in your slide and not have to resave the PDF. So this is how you can save it from now on.
Yeah. Let me go to my classroom. So one of the organizational pieces that we've talked a lot the last 3, 4, 5 months is having that one-stop shop for kids. And so everyone was like, how do I get my virtual classroom into my Google Classroom? And when we first started this, saving it as a PDF was great because kids are able to see it. They're not able to mess with anything. They're only able to interact with it. So they're able to click. The problem with the PDF is that if you're doing this daily, that you've got to change what you're doing in slides, save it as a PDF, and then re-upload it to your classroom every single day. So there's a different way to go about doing this where any change you make will automatically take place inside of your Google Classroom, which I really like. I think it's amazing. Anyone that's ever made a website and has had to go ahead and publish and republish, you understand what I'm saying because it's such a pain in the butt that any changes that you have to make, you have to keep republishing it. So here, what I suggest everybody doing, let me say this first. Just so everybody knows, topics are on the left-hand side, and you can see the different topics that I have. And then also numbering your assignments, I find it really important so that kids know what order to go in. And then, of course, I love using emojis as well to kind of draw some attention to the assignment. But when we go here, we're not going to actually give it a topic at all. We're going to use material because material is not graded. There's no grade that's associated with it. And we're going to keep this as no topic. The reason we're going to keep it as no topic is because it will always stay at the top of our classwork feed. So it'll always be at the top. So I'm going to say Mr. Parks's virtual classroom. I can give a description if I want to, but really what I'm going to do, instead of adding a Google Drive file or a file at all, we're going to add a link. And so I need to get this link. Let me go back. And so I'm going to go down to File. I'm going to go, I should say up to, but File and then down to Download. This is where we've downloaded it in the past as a PDF. And I still think you should if you want to make copies of it. So if you want to have a copy of what you've done, because this is going to be a living document. This is going to change every single day. And so if you really wanted to keep track of your virtual classrooms day to day, just have a PDF of it for your own ideas, your own cataloging, if you will. But what we can do, oops. Let's go down to, where are you? There it is. Instead of download, which is what we used to do, we're going to go down a little bit further, and it kind of hides on me because of my toolbars in the way. Hold on.
Publish to the web is what you're looking for.
There it is. Publish to the web at the very bottom. When you click this, this is going to allow you to grab a link. So you can see when I click on it, just hit Control-C. And then when I go back to my classroom, I'm going to hit Control-V and add the link. When I post this now, you'll see that it's at the top of my classroom. It will never leave there as long as I don't give it a topic. It will stay right there. So when kids come into my classroom, you can train them to go to this piece right here every single day. They'll click on it, they'll open it up, and this is what they'll see. And then they're going to be able to interact. You'll see, watch my cursor as it goes from an arrow to the hand, that I could click on this computer. I could click on the pillow for YouTube. Anything else that's linked, OCM BOCES, I have the OCM BOCES website linked there. The website that I had here, and even the Randy's Calm Down Room, I have linked as well. So they're going to be able to click that, and it would take them exactly where we want them to go. Let me just go back. If for some reason, really that's the best part of it. Now, here's the next piece. I'm just going to click out of this for a second. I'm not going to do anything to the link. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my classroom that I just was in. I'm going to move some things around. So if I move the microphone maybe over here, if I put Tuesday on the shelf, and let's see if I can grab Wednesday. Wednesday's there. If I move my character over here and maybe move the basketball hoop over here. So you've seen that I made some changes. So now when a student goes into it, they click it, any changes that I made automatically take place immediately for the students. So we move things around, we change things, we change the outlook, we change the classroom entirely. And it's going to take place for the students. So it's a nice, quick, easy way. There's nothing that you have to keep changing, saving, uploading, and making more directions for yourself. You're able to just change it in your Google slide, and that's it. And it's going to take place for your students, which is really, really a nice feature.
Well, it makes it more user-friendly, Todd. Didn't we find that? Because it was very bulky to have to keep changing the PDF. So this will make it so you'll want to use it every day, and it'll get really easy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see I just clicked the back button to kind of put things back where I wanted them quickly and easily. And I'm reset for the day. All right, any questions? Yeah. Yeah, really, the conversation stemmed around, this is really, really simple now that we have that web piece to it, that link piece. But really, you know, a couple teachers came up and said, I want to make sure that I have a copy of it for the future. And when you have it as a link, it's not going to save each time. So having a copy or just making a copy of the room and pasting it into a slideshow and giving it a date, that's another way to kind of keep track of your days and what you do as the year goes on. So those are my suggestions. As you're working, we're doing well on time. As you're working, I wanted to show you, I kind of went for a modern shelf look, but you can see on the right-hand side here, this is what it looked like to start. And so people, you know, ask questions. How did you get them to space out? What did you do? And actually each shelf is its own entity. I went ahead and did it all separately. So I just wanted to show you that you can do this. If you click on the shelving unit as a whole and hold down your control button and then just kind of drag this, it'll make a copy of it. Oops. There it is. And then what I did was I just cropped it to the shelf that I wanted. So that top shelf, I just pulled these black lines up and down, and there's my shelf. And now I could put it exactly where I want it. I can space it out however I want, but I still have that kind of 3D effect going on. And I just did that with the middle shelf and then this the second to bottom shelf. I didn't go with the bottom one. I just have a little stool in there. The trash can, I just searched for a trash can that was had a clear background, and that popped up. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the grass, just kind of a little decorative grass in there to fill up my shelf for now. But you can see how intricate you can get with this room. And I really think that, yeah, having multiple rooms, especially when you teach multiple subjects to students, it might be a good idea. And this is a good starting place to get to that correct room. All right. I'm just searching through, while you guys are working, I'm just searching through some of the comments just to see how we're doing. Was everybody able to get into the backgrounds?
No.
Hopefully they were. If they weren't, please message us. Oh, good. All right, there's 20 plus people in here, so it looks like a lot of people were able to get in. That's excellent.
Okay, my internet connection is unstable.
Sabrina has a question. Todd, will you please discuss rotating image to change direction and foreground and background image for real life appearance? Yeah, that would be helpful. The whole idea of using order. Oh,
sure. Okay, so let's start with changing your character. I'll just grab that because it probably would be the most dramatic change. You're just going to click on what you want to flip. You're going to go to Arrange and then Order, and that will bring it to front or back. So you can see that if I move him kind of over here, I had that text in the way. So that's the first thing that we can do, is I can bring him to the front. And then the other piece in Arrange is the rotation piece. So here's the math side of me. We're going to flip horizontal, and you can have him waving the opposite way if that's what you want. So all within Arrange is your order front to back. So that'll look really good. And then flip horizontally is really the big one I think that you would use. I know some people have rotated some things around if you wanted to, but if you wanted to rotate in any direction, you can grab the little circle that goes along with it at the top. And if you wanted to, you know, put yourself sideways or, you know, make yourself fly, I guess, that's fine too. I'm just going to go back to 0 degrees. Does that take care of that?
That answer your question, Sabrina?
She's too busy working.
I know. And like I said before, if you join that Bitmoji Craze for Educators, the Facebook group, they have all sorts of tips and tricks. And I'm trying to find it. They even have something that you can make items on your side walls look 3D, and I can't find the program, but it's in there.
Is it you're saying the Facebook group?
Yeah, the Bitmoji Craze for Educators.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, it was really cool. They were able to put things on your walls and it looked real. It looked normal. There's like, it's not remove.bg. It's another program that allows you to angle things realistically.
Oh,
So
that's really cool.
And the idea is, there was one here, I posted it in our shared drive about, you could, this one teacher took students on a field trip throughout Virginia with links and everything. The kids would have had a blast with that. She had it jumping, and that sample is in our shared drive, and it was powerful. You can put some pretty hefty content in here too if you want. Yeah, it's great. And people are very good about sharing their things in Bitmoji Craze. You can take things and make them your own. Heather, is it okay to share resources from the Facebook group with this shared drive? Yeah, I've been doing it. And what some people say, I'll say like, what I've been doing when I put it in is I've been making a copy and then sharing that with our group just to be super safe. But yeah, does that make sense, Heather? Yeah, good. Yeah, there's so many things. My husband's 5th graders had a blast with the Escape the Room.
Why can't I even hear anything?
Oh, here you go. It's called Flattening or Changing Image Perspective. So the Bitmoji, you can search for that. Flattening or Changing Image Perspective. I'll put that into our shared drive if I can.
Flattening or changing
image perspective.
For example, I have, you can click this mindful minute, and my students would be able to have a mindful meditation minute. And
why is my voice on somebody's computer? That's so creepy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was my mindful minute, I think, in my virtual classroom.
a book club with a group of teachers. And
oh, my screen castify. Please pause or mute yourself.
Emergency online. We shared a bunch of resources, and you guys were getting emails, and everything was lost there. And so instead, I'm like, you know what? I could just share my.
Please mute.
That's great.
That's hysterical. I'm at everybody's house now. Todd, we're in everybody's home.
There you go. It's the power of the internet.
Great. Change perspective. That's really cool. And math teachers, the whole idea of changing image perspective think about your students creating Bitmoji scenes, and you could teach you could teach perspectives to them as well. Someone just asked, happy heart, can I use a classroom that was shared with me and add my Bitmoji? Yes, usually it will let you enable editing is enabled, and you can get rid of their Bitmoji and put your own in there if you want, if they've allowed it. Some people allow, some people don't.
So as we're working, we've got about 13 minutes left. If anybody wants to share what they've started to create, here's what I would do, and we can delete them afterwards. So, you know, it's not staying there. But if I was going to take my slide, I'm going to click on it right here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go to this shared file that we have with Bitmoji scenes and characters. So if I was going to share this, I'm going to go to the very top and just paste it. And you can see that it will put it in there for everybody. So if you wanted to, I'm going to keep links in original styles. There we go. If you want to share kind of what you're working on, go ahead and paste it in there, and that'll be kind of fun. Somebody put an image of a baseball field. That's pretty cool.
Great.
Yeah, and you guys are doing really well. A lot of people realize quickly that this is what we're on right now. This is the main document. So it's all about taking what you like. If you like a certain background, copying that. So if this pinkish wall was what I liked, going ahead, clicking on that slide, hold down Control-C to copy it, and then go into your personal slideshow. And that's where I can go down below and I can use Control-V. So that way you're not making your classroom inside of the large document that everybody is looking to use. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is make copies of everything and make it your own and rename them with your name on them. Oh, Ashley said she shared hers if we want to show it.
Let's see.
Where is it? Thanks,
Oh,
Ashley.
look at this.
Oh, it's so cute.
That's awesome. And there's the computer. You can kind of see, and maybe you grabbed it the way that was, Ashley, but you're going to be able to change the perspective of what you have, and that's great.
I stole a lot from this Bitmoji scenes and characters, but
Oh, that's great.
How Todd, you did find the changing perspective way to do that?
I didn't see it.
I'll find the link that they shared.
Yeah, if you find that link and put it into the chat, that's awesome. Or just share it within that group. But
I think I just rotated it. That's all I did. I think I just flipped it, like horizontally or vertically, and that's how mine worked.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, look at the fish. So does that, Ashley, does that link to?
Yeah, if you click it, it goes to a video of the class fish that I took home.
That is so cute. See, this does so much for kids. It makes so much connection.
We're gonna have to buy a real-time webcam for your house now so that we can keep tabs on the fish.
That is so cool. I should probably share my thing here.
That's great. There's so many different
Feel free
books.
for anyone to take anything off of it if they would like me to keep it on there. but it's all linked to tons of stuff.
Yeah. Your virtual manipulatives. I've seen so many different books that are being read to students through YouTube. It really is really neat. And then click to start to see schedule. Perfect. One thing that I want to make sure that I cover, if you have a classroom and you want, some people may not know this, if you had a particular assignment in your classroom, you can see that I've got everything kind of numbered. And let's say that this jump counting worksheet is something that I wanted to link. So if you go over to the 3 dots of the assignment, you'll see that you can copy the link. And so I'm going to copy that. And then if I go to my virtual classroom, and I'm just going to, I'll just pretend. Let's go jump count. I can link inside of my whiteboard the actual classroom assignment so that when kids go to it, it goes to the actual Google Classroom assignment. They're already signed up for your classroom, but they don't have to search for the assignment. So we're taking the scrolling out of the work section, that classwork section, we're taking that out for students. And what we're doing is, like we said at the beginning, having that one-stop shop for them. They're able to say, oh, I have to do this first, I have to do this second. They click on it, they open it up, and it's still Google Classroom, and it still can give further instruction. And this particular one, it takes them to Cami where they're going to be able to interact with it. And they're still going to be able to hand it in as well using Google Classroom. But it's all at one space. So I think that's going to help organize a lot of our students.
That's wrong.
You can link in a room.
Let's see, any other questions? Anybody else want to share?
I feel like this is just already.
Don't get spooked by Ashley's and all of her stuff.
All right, I just shared the one I did for, oops, it's not letting me. Oh, that's weird. What does that mean? Ooh. That's not good. You can see, okay, I'll get that out of there. That's weird.
Can't even get
Turn
the
my
message
headphone
off.
on. I'll get it in there at some point.
Keeping yourself organized. If this was mine, and this really was Tuesday, you can go down to the speaker notes. I think this is a nice way to do it, and just type in the date and time or whatever you wanted to do. Tuesday, June 16th, 2020. And so that way you know exactly when you used that classroom last. And then you just keep copying and pasting each slide. So maybe you set up a slideshow that just says archived virtual classroom days. And you just continue to put that next slide that you do in there, making a copy of it and pasting it, while the one that the students see and the one that we have our link to inside of our Google Classroom, that constantly can be changed.
Oh. But then I can't hear anything you're saying.
I think what Randy and I have learned through this whole process is that your imagination is the limit. I constantly am seeing new ideas from different people and educators that I never thought to do, and ways that they wanted to use it. And I think that we could take those ideas and incorporate them and really change it up for the kids each and every day. So it's not just the same thing all the time. So you're always able to go back and kind of give a fresh look to it, no matter what. Even the clothes you're wearing, you know, you give a different, put on a different outfit. And if you do that on your smartphone, it'll change in your Bitmojis as well. If I take my smartphone right now, let me see if I can just change this.
Change your outfit.
So if I do it on one end, oops, wrong one.
That's cool that you could do that.
I got to go into the fashion side of it.
I don't know why it won't let me copy my thing into it.
So now you can see I'm going into, oh, give it a second. Let's see if I have to refresh.
No.
Doesn't want to go. Well, I did it on my end. Maybe it just takes a second.
Working. Can I share the screen for for a minute and just to show mine, because for some reason it won't let me, because this was really oh, this will stop other screens. Yes. Okay. So I just very quickly, for some reason it's not letting me copy and paste, but this was the escape the room I did.
Yes.
For my husband and his co-teacher. And the kids had a lot of fun, and what they do is they would find a question. It would link, it took a while. I had to link it to different slides, 3 branches of government. And we had the kids answer them on paper first. And once they were done with answering all 10 questions on paper, and there's all sorts of things, they click here and they can submit their answers on a Google form. And at the end, it had John and Kim waving goodbye. Their Bitmoji characters. They go, "You escaped the room. Have a happy summer." And so it was really super fun to do.